Well, live on the Nsem on Facebook, on TikTok, and of course on YouTube. Countdown to the World Cup Mundial 2026. 3 cities or nations. Anna Omu hosti and medical established the fact to say this is the first time ever yenga 3 cities airborne, and of course, and as a hosti World Cup. And then this is the first time yenga a 48 team World Cup. Babebo. 8 days more. I just say we are gradually building up to the World Cup proper. Now, let's look at another issue concerning this particular World Cup. So see how the FIFA about say when there is a thunderstorm or lightning problem, the World Cup game at that particular time will be suspended. And Omode Abba said if it happens within a duration for a certain period of time, 30 minutes, it means he said the World Cup game it will be suspended. So this is a bit of information. And I see the Ekrom live in the Nsem with a countdown for this particular World Cup. We've been able to go through Group A, Group B, and they didn't come out about Group C. But I'm saying Mame Enkamfo Sweet JC Republic, and I say Sweet JC Republic and Fama, all the authentic World Cup national team jerseys. Ninano Okwana Shoya, you get it. Call him on 054 897 2628. No, our first Swede. The next JC I'll be wearing on this platform, it will come from Swede. And see, Sak, catch and say Argentina there. Why? Catch and say Argentina. And then everything will be fine. Also, Okatechi clothing. Fantastic guy. Ope Kaftan there. Okatechi clothing. And I'll be call 020-952-1341. And as 053-194-2036. Obana be take measurement just in a space of 3 days. Na Bibian so Ayakama Edema. Now let's go back to business. Group C is also made up of 4 solid teams, and it's an interesting group. Your Brazil, your Morocco, your Scotland, and of course your Miami Haiti. These are the teams that are making group number, and that's a group C. Now let's take it one by one and start with Brazil. When you look at the dynamics of Brazil coming into this World Cup, Brazil has represented in every single World Cup. Ayabo. Now Brazil abakosem kakran so say Brazil is the only team winning 5 World Cup titles. There is no nation winning 5 World Cup titles in this particular tournament. Brazil won it in 1958, they won it in 1962, they won it in 1970, of course in 1994 and in 2002. So when you look at the dynamics, the last time Brazil win the World Cup was in 2002. I don't know where you were during that year 2002 and how old you were in 2002. But 2002 was the last time Brazil actually won the World Cup. Now in 1994, SMBC, America established the fact to say Brazil won the World Cup in 1994. In 1994, now Brazil are waiting for 24 solid years without winning a World Cup trophy. In that particular year, the World Cup with USA, and Brazil went on to win it. Now, at the same dynamics in Swaba, because after 2002, Brazil has now waiting for another 24 years without winning a World Cup trophy. And this time around, you have a World Cup in the United States of America. So when you go back into 94, the record that happened, it could be said no one best repeating in this particular year, the United States of America. Clearly, you have World Cup campaigns, any or more winning ball, you cannot take out the South American teams. And especially Brazil is one team away who say when it comes to the World Cup, you cannot take Brazil out of this particular World Cup. Now it's been 24 solid years since Brazil actually made a statement in this World Cup. And when you look at our manager, our Mukra is here, Carlo Ancelotti, the only manager who has won 5 Champions League titles, coming into a team winning 5 World Cup titles. Let's say in terms of numbers, synchronized perfectly. Now when you look at Juma Carlo Ancelotti here in the club team, sir, he's coming with so much experience to help this particular team, my friend, Brazil, a nation. When you look at the Brazil team, and there are a lot of players you can count on, especially in a branch of Vinicius Jr., who plays for Real Madrid. He's a fantastic player by all standards. Meaning, say a lot of people have attitude with, and I say a problem with the attitude. But in terms of the football now, the Vinicius Jr. on any day, so any day, he is a good attacker and he can score goals as well. Brazil are declining in terms of personnel because there was a time we had the likes of Rivaldo, Ronaldinho Gaucho, Ronaldo, Nazário de Lima. These were the players, Zé Roberto, Ebendida in goal post. These were the players that no command the Brazil national team now. But as it stands now, the Brazil team no it is relying on the shoulders of Abrante Adedin and Vinicius Junior. Apart from Vinicius Junior, another fantastic player in Abrante Casemiro, formerly of Manchester United, formerly of Real Madrid. Getting to the end of the season, Casemiro became one of the important players for a team and Manchester United because of the interceptions and the partnership with Abrante Adedin in the Manchester United team. And coming back to this particular World Cup playing for Brazil, he will actually be one of the leaders who will command the midfield. And he is actually a leader in the Brazil national team. Now, one of the funny tricks Abana said, the likes of Abrante Adedin, Pedro was left home, and Neymar Jr. Ababishim. Neymar actually suffered an injury. It was Santos, Emma Brazil, a different information, said, injury now was suffering that serious. But then after so among Brazil for no, Emma Neymar back camp or more year assessment. No one said Neymar would even go to the extent of so may say about 2 games in the World Cup proper, and also a big headache for them. But in all, when you look at Brazil in this particular group and per their history and records now, I personally think the Brazil team is a strong team that can qualify from this particular group. The second team, Morocco. Now, when you pick Morocco, Morocco is the only African team actually about the semi-finals of the World Cup. And in the last AFCON, Morocco actually qualified to play in the finals of Molusuye, Etia Senegal. When you look at Morocco in the last 10 years, they have been a powerhouse in African football. And they are leading the African continent. The top 5 or top 3, you cannot mention and leave Morocco out. Over the likes of Ghana, over the likes of Senegal, you mention the likes of Morocco, in terms of football development. And one of the players will be him, Abrante Ashraf Hakimi, a UEFA Champions League winner with Paris Saint-Germain. And then again, he has gone on to win the African Best Player of the Year. And who was our quality with team more? Clearly, it tells you, sir, Obetima Boa with an experience to help Morocco going into this particular World Cup. Now, Morocco will a lot to prove because in the last 4 years, people were of the view that Morocco, a chance to be a buy in Morocco, Timmy Real, about the semi-finals. If they want to make a statement, say it wasn't by chance, but it was about pure performance and class there, they would have to repeat the marker or more achieving when we went to Qatar or more the semi-finals. Medical established said they were the first African nation to play in the semi-finals of the World Cup or may say out in the final. So Morocco would have a say. Another player we can talk about, Abrante Brahim Diaz in the AFCON. Brahim Diaz is shown, he said yes indeed, he's a fantastic player, a player who can score goals, who can affect the football. And he's one of the players that Morocco would count on so much going into this particular World Cup. Now, when you look at the strength of Morocco and you look at what they have done in Africa, clearly speaking, this is a group Morocco can go all the way, and one topic right now, he should qualify to the round of 32. Now, the third team on this particular, and I say in this particular group, is a team and it is Scotland. Now, when you look at Scotland, since 1998, this is the first time Omo Abba to play in the World Cup since 1998. So it tells you, so when it comes to the World Cup, Scotland ain't a World Cup team. Because Obo last World Cup in 1998, now the next time Abba Samba 2026, it means that you are not a team that can compete at the highest level when it comes to the World Cup competition. But then when you look at Scotland, this is the time they have a lot of great players because we they are leader Scott McTominay from Manchester United to Bobo Kwani Didi Napoli. He won the Player of the Year in the Italian Serie A. A very fantastic chap for Antonio Conte, then the manager of Napoli. Onuno Olidi line. Again, you can talk about Branchard John McGinn. McGinn is a player for Aston Villa Bobo Kuno. And when you look at the leadership quality and how even currently Aston Villa went on to win the Europa League, and also the experience, clearly it tells you say Scotland will also have a say in this particular group. When you look at Brazil, when you look at the likes of Morocco and Scotland, I personally do think say who emerges as the second in that particular group, it's going to be very difficult because when you look at the strength of Morocco and what Scotland is bringing, because they've missed out on a lot of World Cups since 1998, to 2026. So they also have a point to prove. So the second position will be a matter of concern for Morocco and Omayani Scotland to battle it out. I'm not saying it's on the outright. Brazil will emerge as the winners because also more weakness. They are not at their very best. But when you look at the likes of Morocco and Scotland, the second position will be ideal, and as to who will be at the second position, a very, very critical going to this particular World Cup. The last team is Haiti, and I don't actually have a lot to say about Haiti because we Haiti because of a lot of issues and air cost war. They've not had time to play at their home grounds, and in terms of player quality and players they have at their disposal, so very, very low. I personally do think that they are coming in to help the numbers. Say you bring 48 teams because 48 teams rank there was no way I hate to beat me qualify, and I think so. I'm going to be free in the group stages of the FIFA World Cup. So my predictions for Group C, as I've always done, Brazil will top the group, at least winning 2 matches. Brazil will beat Haiti and will beat Scotland, and AB will bet draw with Morocco or Obetima Lusu to Morocco. So at least a possible 6 points here. Brazil and Sabi Tumiaka. Then I'll put Morocco because I'm an African, and looking at what they have done before, I'll put Morocco at the second position. Scotland will be at the third position, and then of course Haiti will be at the fourth position for Group C. The World Cup is almost here, and I'm excited. I'm thrilled to be here to share with you the moment in Group C. Subscribe, share, and comment. Mami who are going to comment section. The name is Maestro, and I'm your sports landlord.